Ladies and gentlemen, we have the breaking news in related with the film and TV news and Paramount Skydance news because um, the team behind BoulderLight Pictures, Raphael Magudis, and JD. Yeah, I'm not gonna say the last name, this person's last name, because I'm probably not allowed to say on YouTube. But these two people who behind the BoulderLight Pictures was officially ended the deal with Warner Brothers New Line Cinema under Warner Brothers to moving to Paramount Pictures. If you don't know what BoulderLight Pictures is, he founded by these two people. Um, we will probably begin making small scale horror films or genre films, if you know. But then they call and die with the producer Rolly over at Vehicle Entertainment. That's right, the same producer who made a Minecraft movie. You know, that cheeky talking one that people care about. That mostly general family audience don't know what the hell this is. Anyway, then made they eventually got the attention, and eventually the one director, Shaq Reeder, made a film debut, directorial film debut in Barbarian from 20th Century Studios, along with New Rikisti Enterprises, and it got a release in limited theaters in US, but in September, and then eventually to got a release internationally on streaming between on Hulu in US and internationally by on Disney Plus under Star. It got received well, mostly on the streaming service, but but now eventually you'll follow up with then Rolly and BoulderLight continue relationship between the films, including Anna Kendrick's directorial film debut, Woman of Now Hour, was released in Netflix in some countries and some theaters in some countries was released between 2023 and 2024. Um, and then it came 2 years later with both films were had related with the New Line Cinema under Warner Brothers was a general label, were between Companion and Weapons. Was pretty much the was a gone a big success, and even as begun a well known of the Borderlight's career was become rising high, and all thanks to Rolly over Vehicle Entertainment. And I'm gonna know the vehicle, Worley and the Vehicle Entertainment label was pretty known working for Paramount before, and he produced the first two, the Ring movie for DreamWorks Pictures, um, and then made the Uninvited movie with under DreamWorks through Paramount ownership back then. It was produced by Ira Ryman's production company. Huh. I'm not sure that. And then years later, he came back with an uncredited production credit of the third Rings movie, was Rolly executive producing, and also went to the TV where with Paramount and Viacom for including the NTV reality a TV show from Rolling Stone was produced for Metric Films was not because it's Madonna's production company. Yeah, I'm not sure. And of course, the Paramount Plus and formerly CBS Access miniseries based on Stephen King book, um, The Stand, starring alongside um, God for help us, Ezra Miller and Amber Heard. And boy, I'm just gonna say, I know this people were ruined by the dead universe that is DCEU was led by Wata Hamada, and I will talk about Wata Hamada in the later on. We will talk about the different genre company for Paramount Pictures. So I will talk about that. But yeah, yeah. You see, I know that sure that he gone. Rolly was known as the genre bending producers along with the fellow producers like Peter Safran or Jason Blum from Blumhouse, but Vehicle was not the different. And I think this, especially Rolly, he hadn't released some big films or appeared to kind of audience. No more like the recent Micro movie, Companion, Weapons, and the and David F. Sandberg's video game adaptation Until Dawn, and Francis Lawrence The Long Walk movie with based on Stephen King book, but I think this pretty much the Verico Entertainment's define what would describe as a new era. And I'm not sure that after like the poor box office performance in the Long Walk, I mean the next film is going to be Edgar Wright's film adaptation of the Running Man, starring alongside starring Glenn Powers over at Paramount. But I'm not sure this is going to be a box office flop or didn't will see well, but was not going to be a box office flop. But I'm not sure, but still. But I think that Very Cool was gone quite a relationship with the BoulderLight Pictures and his team, and I very much respect the film will be upcoming projects like including the Zack Reader untitled Resident Evil reboot movie. So there's that. Anyway, but still, and I was so yeah. Back to what it started. Um, now, as we know, the team behind the production company BoulderLight Pictures now moved to Paramount Pictures to create of the genre label, and then as was it did with another genre label led by the former Warner Brothers alum Watamada. Again, we'll get to that later on, but this is an announced over at Deadline, so here it is. These two people, the president of the buzzing genre focused production company BoulderLight Pictures, has been tapped to lead the new genre label from Paramount Pictures. Um, this is the big news from the Paramount post Skydance merger, as a pair have up to recent been under the first look deal over a new line for Warner Brothers. The deal goes into effect at the expiration of their date deal with Paramount in January 2026, was coming in is in a few months. Um, at which point there will begin developing, producing, and releasing a slate of the high concept, quality pushing films for which they have become known. The BoulderLight duo will have the options to proceed to equally co-finance on project will the deal win the deal. And I meant to say I know Paramount had a co-finance agreement with Legendary and Pictures or Entertainment, again the same company who did a Mike movie with Warner Brothers and Vehicle Entertainment, of course. But we begin in the first film, Street Fighter, the video game adaptation, will be coming next year. So let's continue. In the statement of the deal, Paramount Pictures co-chair Josh Greenstein and Dana Goldberg, yes, that's right, Paramount's answer to Michael DeLuca and Penn Abbey from Warner Brothers Pictures, said GT and Rafi had distinguishing themselves as two standout visceralities of the premium pulp genre. And I'm not talking about that the pulp genre that did with Quentin Tarantino in Pulp Fiction, while also proving their powers across all genres. With the track record of films that are both critical acclaim and audience beloved. That's from the I meant to say Companion and Weapons, of course. With the we are just so thrilled that they're making their home at Paramount Pictures. Together, we can't wait to bring moviegoers even more imitated and with vertical stories that are like nothing seen before on the big screen. These two people said, "For the moment we first met, felt deep connection to aligning with Josh, David, Dana, and David. Um, they're committed to the philosophical volume and passion for cinema and the research approach to the future of the media and inspired to speak to our shared value. And I know that the physical media release has gone declining, and especially all because of streaming boom. I'm not sure this pretty much is streaming physical media was mostly for horror and genre bending films, but still, we look forward to working together to build something tremendous both for filmmakers and audience. We are grateful from David, Mike, Pan, Richard, and everyone at New Line Cinema and Warner Bros. Company. We could not to be more excited for for this next chapter. So this is going to be a different. Like BoulderLight was more going to be a more genre label, and what did in a similar way like it did with Paramount with Watamata. If you don't know, Watamata was a fellow another former Warner Brothers alum who worked before that. He working at the president at the DC Films, now DC Studios, but he left in 2022 due to after Warner Brothers Discovery merger was completed, led by infamous David Zaslav, and now I'm working at and now that we started any genre horror focused genre label was led by former Paramount Pictures CEO Brian Robbins. Um, is working on some projects in development, including the film smart filmmaker we unite with going to be next film is going to be a star alongside starring Robert Pattinson, and in fact, Watamata and Robert Pattinson worked together before in the Matt Reeves Batman movie, doing the part of the DC Films regime over Warner Brothers. So yeah, I think that the reason because this is going to be a filmmaking experience. I think Robert Pattinson's career after the Batman and the recent outlets, including the Mickey 17 movie from Warner Brothers, not so much, but even the career is pretty much their, I like say, divisive. Like it's pretty much more like in the next couple of films, including a few A24 films, and especially the Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey movies. So I'm not sure it will be appear. And also the development of the R-rated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie was based on the last Roland graphic novel. Now I'm not sure this is going to be a different like a horror genre. Like this is going to be a longer like the Matt Reeves the Batman movie. And yes, what Hamada was producing when then, but I think that this is going to be a longer movie, like a horror long film. But I think the problem was probably more what Hamada was producing. Like I not Teen Mutant Ninja Turtles movies pretty much become got a new interest after the success of the last TMNT anime movie from Paramount and Nickelodeon movies. Was produced by Seth Rogen for all places. Yeah. But I think that this R-rated TMNT movie was going to be more the different they did with the more family friendly approach. I'm not sure it will be a director. I'm not sure there will be one director. Zach Creeder might be direct, and I'm not sure, but or maybe Matt Reeves, but I'm not sure. What another one might pick a new director, but who knows? But we'll see. I think the team already TMNT movies will be good. Probably not, but I think that not as good as did what the Matt Reeves the Batman. It's gonna be a longer, like almost 3 hours, but who knows? But I think the backtracking between them were led by Brian Robbins, who's back when working at Paramount Pictures, who's gone a lot of agreements with John Krasinski and Ryan Reynolds and some others. But it's not even like to say he's not an agreement guy. It's like where the recent outlets of at Paramount was like Nova King movie was pretty much they came out to produce between all the Paramount and Warner Brothers. A lot was under United Cinema, but and Barbarian and Nova King. And this you count the Head of State movie. That's from the Amazon NGM Studio movie from Prime Video. And of course produced by Peter Safran, of course. Co-heads of DC Studios. Yeah, you know, right? But still, I like to say Amazon, but still, I think these pretty much the general label because I think we want to talk about the Republic picture, but more on that later in the studio. So let's continue. BoulderLight is coming out on the major success with Weapons, one of the busiest horror films of the year, which marked a reunion with the filmmaker Zack Creeder. His breakout project, the 20th Century Studios horror thriller Barbarian. New Line wanted the project on the heating bidding war, and has seen it gone it was over 2016 million dollars worldwide. Earlier this year's New Line released Barbarian, the Korean AI themed horror thriller movie, on which the creator and the BoulderLight duo were the producers. And yeah, this stars Sophie Thatcher of the Yellow Jackets Jenkins' series fame over at Showtime or Paramount owned company, as well as he appeared in the Heretic movie with A24 movie with Hugh Grant. Wow, the rom-com actor doing the serious horror thing. Well, that doesn't make no sense. Anyway, and that's part. Yeah, that's a good film. And Jack Quaid, again from Nova, also did another film, Nova King, and the person known as Oppenheimer, and as well as the 5 Second Films fan favorite actor appearing in some, you know. Anyway, they continue on. While BoulderLight's Marcus and these two people has been acting as a producers for little over a decade. We are really broken through the as a heavy hitter in the genre space within the last few years. While Jason Blum protect their banner as the next Blumhouse, or the side, the company also had a real interest in the comedy. He recently produced the hit A24 film Friendship, starring Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd. That's from, yes, because Paramount distributed it in film overseas since before working at Paramount, but created the general label. Other critics under the Republic Pictures, more of that later, at talk about the general label. It could be a change to general label. Other credits include The Virgin, Becky, and Anna Kendrick's directorial debut, Woman of an Hour, was released from Netflix and in some countries and in theaters in some different countries. And on behalf of the EGC Studios. More recently, BoulderLight has been look at the Buddy, the mysterious indie horror film written and directed by the viral YouTube video was on Adult Swim is Too Many Cooks, Helm Casper Kelly. And the pre might be released under Warner New Night Cinema label for Warner Brothers. Yeah, I think the after Adult Swim was gone, that parent company Warner Brothers discovering on split off its cable networks. What did with the NBC Universal and Comcast, but yeah, I'm not sure. This might release for might maybe released under New Night Cinema for Warner Brothers or straight up Paramount Pictures. Who knows? As well as as a World War II thriller played Dead from the director Gianni Sorella of the Jungle Cruise and Black Adam fame, who directed some, and also the director of the few Liam Neeson vehicle movies and the Shadows movies with it ends with us. Um, no, it nah. Oh, that's right. It ends pre. It ends. Yeah, female. Sorry that. With pre. It ends with us controversial career Blake Lively. So yeah, that's that. It also of the business shop TV series with the skate group Almost Friday. Um, and because upon the release on airing on True TV, again, the parent company Warner Bros. Was probably split in uh, a cable networks division, but that might fit on HBO Max. And under the new Annabelle movie in the developments because it compete with another Annabelle movie over at Amazon NGM with David S. Sandberg directing and produced by Peter Safran, of course. And it's set up in the sci-fi thriller sped cut outs at the new 9. Why? I don't know what to say. You nine. That it's new not new line. What I do something right. That line. You why you spelled you nine line wrong? It's new line cinema. This doesn't make no sense. Anyway, it's been guns blazing at Paramount since the Skydance deal closing in August. Right out the gate, they're quite high side. An odd future package described as heat meets hell of hot water, or maybe the bike riders. You've seen that movie when the 20th Century Fox originally set the film, but reasons it got canceled entirely and set in another company, and then ventured to focus features under Universal. And the yeah, I'm not sure that movie's gonna really well. Even the cameo by Nora Reedus, he's a bywriters. I'm not sure the Jason Momoa was so good, not going to be in the movie because he's a bywriter too. Anyway, which we team as a complete unknowns Tiffany Chalamet and James Mangold, because the last movie was pretty much distanced itself with Disney because of for reasons related to not related to Jimmy Kimmel's live ended for obvious reasons. about what I've mentioned in my channel. And the last month or so, where that's also the emergence of the live action Call of Duty movie in development at the studio, which as brought the additional live action three other movie into the slate. We had a new 3-year global distribution deal with Late Today, and again co-financing company who have for working at Warner Brothers and Universal and especially Sony Pictures had a short-lived deal because they only have two movies and not so much of the box office. Okay, on a general foot, Paramount's next film coming out at the release is a Dakota Fanning horror flick Victors by Brian Fredton, which is to go straight to Paramount Plus on October 10th at the world premiere at Fantastic Fest because the reasons because that they after negative responses test screening is pretty in a mood that Paramount decided to put the fears entirely and rent to Paramount Plus on in digital and a digital platform. So that's not really good. So I'd be interested to see what these two people can bring to the studio. It's been the home of the horror franchise like The Quiet Place, Cloverfield, Paranormal Activity, and Scream. The latter co-produced with Skydance Media Group. So yeah, I this is gonna be a more different direction, and this is gonna be a new era of BoulderLight. Yeah, because this is gonna be a new era of BoulderLight in now under Paramount because I wanted something more different that did with the new line under Warner Brothers. Sorry, I'd gotten my parents are in the background. Apologies for that. But for me, BoulderLight is take a new direction of the company in new from Paramount within the general label, along with Watamata, and it's pretty much become the create a new general label. What did Zack Reader was pretty much involved in some investment of that of the new BoulderLight's new general label company. So yeah, because there's another thing I'm gonna mention. Whenever I said Republic Pictures that the friendship, the distributed international distribution of A24's friendship movie, well, imagine Republic Pictures is going to be turned into the genre label for Paramount Pictures. Now, Republic Pictures will relaunch as a distribution international distribution company, which handle the international distribution. A similar vein like stage takes films from Sony Pictures. Well, I'm probably entire might be turned into the like become and now probably since it be more focused on like genre label. In the main say it might be turned into the genre label from Paramount. And the same thing like New Night Cinema from Warner Brothers and Screen Gems from Sony Pictures. And yes, the name was actually used to be at a TV studio from Columbia Pictures, and now here we are. It's now probably general label from Sony Pictures. That made no sense. You've seen the Infinite as well logo from many times. You would check out the mini documentary about that. It was gone. I would never all saw on the Sundance on YouTube. It would probably be Sundance movie, you know. But still, if you burn it now, it might be with you happening. Republic Pictures was more than genre label, but likely did distribute the international market of Hot Eyes movie with Skydance Media Group and well Screen Gems Sony Pictures Screen Gems label were distributed and it might be in US and Canada, so not in UK but does US and Canada. So still, I think that if you're not, I think the BoulderLight team who were behind Weapons, Companion, and Barbarian and Woman of the Hour will be different. So this is we'll see what happens and begin next year, and it came at the same time as a Paramount legendary deal begin with Street Fighter movies. So we'll see, but I hope these two people will go on and will define the genre label. What did with A24 with Hereditary? And I'm not talking about Cineverse with the terrifying movies. That's too obvious. But I would say A24 did with Hereditary. But this is more different. So wish me luck, these two people, and I hope that, Josh and Dana will continually go on to make a new era of a company. So we will see. So that's pretty much the video for today. What do you think about these news? Let me know in the comments. Be sure to like this video, share with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And remember, keep watching on One EV.